Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I will be demonstrating part of the accessibility menu on a Mac. Now the Mac that I'm using runs OS X 10.9 Mavericks. There are three different areas within the accessibility menu on the Mac that are relevant to a person with a visual impairment, and the areas are Display, Zoom and VoiceOver. In this video I will be concentrating on the zoom function. Using keyboard shortcuts to open the accessibility menu, we press Option, Command and F5. Now I want to get into a more detailed version of this menu, and so I'm going to press the Tab key 10 times to get to the Preferences button, and then I'll press the space bar to select it.
Inverted contract keyboard preferences.
So I press the Tab key 10 times, and now I'm going to press the space key. So starting off with zoom, I think it's best for me to explore. I think for me the best option to explore first is by selecting the type of zoom that I want to work with. The choice is labelled Zoom Style, and it's at the bottom of the accessibility dialog box. It's a choice between either zooming in on the whole of the desktop, which is described as full screen, or having a fixed size window, which is a rectangular shaped magnifying glass, and it is described as picture in picture. I am very sorry, but I cannot for the life of me work out how to access this particular menu with keyboard shortcuts. So if you know, please let me know in the comments section below the video. For the moment, let's stick with the full screen mode. Now there is a box in this zoom option window that needs to be selected if we want to work with keyboard shortcuts, which we do, and it's at the top here, and it's got use keyboard shortcuts to zoom. So you just need to select that box. And again, my apologies for not being able to work out how to select this option using keyboard shortcuts. Pressing the Option, Command and 8 key together toggles zoom on and off, like so. Pressing the Option, Command and equals key together zooms in on the screen. Pressing the Option, Command and minus keys together zooms out on the screen. You can also use gestures on the trackpad to achieve the same result. To do this, you need to select a modifier key. This is the key on the keyboard that you need to press at the same time as using the trackpad. The choices are between the Control, the Option or the Command key, which you can select via the drop down menu. Now for this demonstration I've chosen the Control key in order to use and We also need to make sure that the box is ticked that says use scroll gesture with modifier keys to zoom. In order to zoom using gestures on the trackpad, I press and hold down the control key, and then to zoom in I slide 2 fingers up the trackpad like so, and to zoom out I slide 2 fingers down the trackpad, still holding the control key down. Below the drop down menu for the modifier zoom key, our next option is smooth images. By ticking this box, it ensures that images during zoom stay as clear and as unpixelated as possible. The next option of zoom follows the keyboard focus. Now this is a difficult concept to explain, but here goes. A Mac can either be focused or controlled by the keyboard or the mouse, and for most people they will use the mouse. Of course, if you have a visual impairment, you are more likely to be controlling your Mac by the keyboard, and so by selecting the zoom follows the keyboard's focus, when you use the zoom function, it will follow any focus that your keyboard has on the screen, not any focus that the mouse has. I hope that makes sense. Under the zoom style options, we have to the right hand side is a more options buttons. These options apply when you have selected the full screen zoom, as we have. At the top of the dialog box are 2 sliding scales. The top scale sets your maximum zoom from your maximum zoom from a magnification of ×1 to a magnification of ×20. And the bottom scale sets your minimum zoom from a magnification of ×1 to a magnification of ×20 as well. This controls the level of zoom when the option commands and equals or option command and minus key shortcuts are used. Below the minimum zoom sliding scale is a box that can be selected which will show a preview rectangle when zoomed out. And so after I've zoomed out by pressing the option command and minus keys, a black box appears on the screen. And there's a black box on our screen there. This black box represents the area of the screen that will be focused on when you next zoomed in. So let's place the black box over the dock at the bottom of the screen, and let's zoom in. So there we go. The next range of options in this menu are related to the zoomed in area. You can choose between the zoomed in area moving with the mouse pointer, and let me do a demonstration. So if I put the mouse pointer somewhere, you can see that the zoom follows where the mouse pointer is. Or so that the zoomed in area only changes when the mouse pointer gets to the edge of the screen. So let's select that. And let's try it. So you can see here that the box is moving when I'm at the edge of the screen and the focus is moving. Or finally, the next option is so that the pointer is at or near the center of the screen. So that the pointer always stays somewhere near the center of the screen. Like so. Now when you are happy with the changes that you have made, in the bottom right hand corner select the Done button. And that is the end of the More Options menu for the full screen mode. And I think what I'll do here is I'll end the video here, because otherwise it's going to be too long, and in my next video I will concentrate on the other option of picture-in-picture zoom. Thanks for watching this video, I really appreciate it. As always, if you have any comments, please leave them below the video. I would particularly like to hear from you if you know of any of the shortcuts that I didn't know in this video, and that you can help me out there. Thank you.